Good YouTube. It is your girl Trisha checking back in with a late night message. And y'all, let me tell y'all, I was ready to go to sleep because for the last couple of days I've been struggling with Judges. Chapters primarily 5 and 6. I just kind of been struggling with them because I was trying to figure out. I said, God, why are you putting this in my spirit? And then I was feeling a little exhausted today, so I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna just relax. I'm gonna take me a shower and I'm gonna go to bed." Because I've been already battling with my word, plus trying to still walk in obedience, doing what he say do. And I heard him so clearly say, "Go take a bath, go take a shower." So I went and took my shower. And in the midst of the shower, I kept hearing, "Hold your position. Hold your position." And I was like, okay, hold my position. And then all of a sudden I had the thought of Judges 5 and 6 come back up. And for a little backdrop, in Judges 5 and 6, there was a woman named Deborah. She was a judge, but she was also a prophetess. So if you had disputes, if you had to have someone say, hey, this person is either right or wrong, she was your girl, right? And I said, God, why are we going through this? Because I I'm a little confused in this season. That's what I had to tell him. I said, God, what are we doing? He says, standing firm like Deborah and embarking the spirit of Janelle in this season that we are stepping in is crucial. Because he says, as we step into this season, both spiritually and in our personal lives, it is important more than ever to hold your position. He said, you're going to have to hold your position, stand in your God given authority. He said, in this season, you are to stand in your God given authority and recognize the Janelles that is in your life who can help secure your victory. He said, who can help secure your victory. Mm. A little backdrop. He's the story of Deborah and Janelle in Judges 4 and 5 carry a powerful message for this time of year, reminding us why we must be unwavering in our faith and ready for divine opportunities. He said, in this season, don't miss what he is about to give you. He said, in this season, don't mess your own plan up. Because you got to understand, Deborah, who was a prophetess and a judge, she led Israel during a time of great depression. She did not waver, she did not retreat or let fear dictate her decisions. Instead, she stood firm in her role, delivering God's word and guiding Israel to victory. In this season, God is calling many to stand at the top of their mountain, the place He has positioned you, whether it's in ministry, whether it's in business, whether it's with your family, whether it's with your personal growth. Now is not the time to shrink back. Just as Deborah spoke boldly to Barak and declared God's plan in Judges 4 6 through 7. And I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm gonna bypass some of this, y'all, because some of these words is over the top. But if I go, Deborah because she was a prophetess, when she had received word, she went to Barak's son of Abin from Kadesh in Nephri and said to him, "The Lord, the God of Israel, commanded you to go and take with you 10,000 men of Nephrites and Zebulun and lead them up to the Mount of Tabor. I will lead Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his troops to the Kishmar River and give him into your hands." Ooh. At this season, when he's telling you, we must also be confident. You have to be confident in this season because this promise was spoken over your lives. You have to be strategic. This is why he said he gave us strategic plans. This is why he said you got to stay in your spirit. This is why he said you cannot do whatever he's doing with you in this season with your fleshly eyes. This is the moment. And he's breaking us down strategically. And right now, our call to action is to hold our position. He said, hold your position. He said, and make sure in this season of your life that you got you either a Deborah or a Janelle or if that mug bipolar. Make sure they got both identities up in them in this season, baby. One who's gonna be able to prophesy, one who's gonna be able to help you have some judgment. And then when you understand what a Janelle is in your life in just a minute, baby, you're gonna have to make sure you got that ride or die with you in this season. Because what you about to go up against is gonna require you to look at who's on your team. And if they gonna be able to hold the weight, if they're gonna be yoked with you like you were supposed to be yoked. He said, because this is the time of alignment and stepping into your authority. Many have felt pressure and resistance, but just as Deborah held her position despite opposition, we must be unwavering in our faith and in our purpose because the time is coming where whoever's on your team, whoever that Janelle is on your team, is about to have to step up. And you better understand if you're the Janelle. You might be the Janelle. You might be the Janelle. Who is Janelle? Why are we talking about her? Well, if you understand the story of Judges, um, Barak, once he got word, right? When you unsure and you want to put conditions on God, if you really want to do this or not, like Barak did, the glory ain't yours, is what he's saying. It's not going to be yours. That's why you're going to have you with Janelle on your team because you might not want to go up and you might not want to be that front runner. So Barak said to her, "If you go with me, I will go. But if you don't go with me, I won't go." "Certainly I will go with you," said Deborah. "But because of the course you are taking, the honor will not be yours. For the Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman." If you ain't ready to go in this season, you got to understand this was a time when this was a male dominated society. Okay. Similar to what we're in now still. But in this time, when you were looking for your warriors, when you were looking for those key answers, you weren't turning to women. In these times, you were looking for that extra male. You were looking for that testosterone to get you through them trying times, especially when it was talking about going to war. And you need to figure out where your ruthless people is, okay? But Janelle was not a warrior by title. Ooh. But she was ready when the moment came. She recognized that she had the power to bring down the enemy with what she had in her hands. Ooh, a simple tent peg and a hammer. So when we looking at this, Let me break this down to you guys. Let me tell you something. Let me back this truck up, okay? So in Judges 4 and 5, Janelle went out to meet Sisera and said to him, "Come, my lord, come right in. Don't be afraid." So he entered her tent and she covered him with a blanket. "I'm thirsty," he said. "Please give me some water." She opened a skin of milk, gave him a drink, and covered him up. She was willing to protect him. That's what she was doing. She was willing to protect him when she told him to come in. Hmm. Standing in the doorway of the tent, he told her, "If anyone comes by and asks you, 'Is anyone in here?' say no." But Janelle, Herbert's wife, picked up a tent peg and a hammer and went quietly to him while he lay fast asleep and exhausted. She drove the peg through his temple into the ground and he died. You're going to have to get you with Janelle in this season because Janelle understood from the verbiage of with which Saber was talking to her. He might have came in and she gave him some honor, which lets you know she had legions in both areas, baby. Where's them people in your life who got legions in both areas, baby? But when the time came and she knew that when she let you into her tent, and when you said to tell them nobody looking, she knew you weren't standing on business. She knew right then that the war that you was in, the fight that you was going through, she knew right then and there that that fight was not going in your favor. The moment you had to tell her, if anybody come looking, tell them no. Tell them ain't nobody in here. Tell them you ain't seen nobody. Okay? But see, when you got somebody who got a Janelle spirit, baby, she gonna seize her moment. No, she did not have to go look for nothing else. She picked up one of her own tent pegs and found her own hammer and went and bashed that man head in and made sure that the army was defeated, that the king that was suppressing them all of this time was finished. Why am I saying this? Right now, we need Janelles in our life. Those are the ones who are able to discern the right moment and act. When they are able to discern the right moment and act, timing in this season is crucial in this season. Hesitation can mean missed opportunities. We is not missing opportunities in this season, baby. Make sure you checking your teammates. Make sure you got some who's yoked with you in this season. Why am I saying that? Because you got to find the ones who can use what they have. Mm. Who is able to use what they have. You don't need grand resources. You need to know if you're walking in your spirit, if you walking by your faith, if you walking with working what God gave you, then God equips you willingly. He equips you. Make sure the person on your team is fearless in confronting the enemy. When the time is there, will they really confront the enemy? Why am I saying that? Whether we are in a spiritual battle, personal struggles, social challenges, you're going to need someone on your team who will be able to act boldly. Is the person on your team bold enough to act boldly with you? Will that person step up and step out with you? In this season, you are not called to shrink. You are called to hold your position. God said right now, while you are standing at the top of your mountain, you are to hold your position. Mm. Oh, Lord. He is stirring up the atmosphere. atmosphere. I'm going to tell y'all, he is stirring up the atmosphere. He said the urgency in this season as we move forward, this is a time of spiritual warfare and breakthrough. He said the enemy is trying to intimidate, distract, and delay what you have, what you need, and where you trying to go. He said, but like Deborah, you must be able to hold your position. And like Janelle, we must be ready to act when the opportunity arises. He said this season is about victory, boldness, and stepping into your full calling that God has over your life. You are to step fully if you about this. He said, because over here, you got to know what you're getting yourself into. He said, so if you rocking with him, if he dwelt with you, you gave him some ownership, you let him know he can live inside of here and you made room for him in here and that y'all was able to dwell and you done passed all his prerequisites and you became his friend and Jesus made known to you every plan and you understand that the mission was to save souls. Ooh. He said, and you understood what the mission was. He said, now is the time to stand firm. Trust God's strategy and surround yourself with those who will fight alongside of you. He said, just as Deborah and Janelle secured Israel freedom, we too are being positioned to walk in divine victory. He said, if you are standing at the top of your mountain, right now when you're being called to hold your position, because he's given us the orders. He said, if you didn't receive your order to know which way you were going next with his strategic plan, that's because you're being called to hold your position. Yes. He said it in this season, what you're afraid to do, whatever it is you afraid to do, he said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because he will have somebody else who will do it. Someone else is going to recognize what's in their hand and use it. He said, but check your teammates and check for the ones who's coming up. You know, the ones who can work any side. He said, watch, you better, he said, you got to know what's going on. Because the ones who can work either side, they going to have to pick a side. And when they're picking a side, it's where is their alliance going to go? Are they going to who, you know what? It's going to remind me of my clip. Either they're going to go with Barabbas, who's oppressing them, who's going to be killing and murdering them, or they're going to be looking for their soul salvation in this season. And they're going to pick the right teammate. They're going to pick the right alliance. Just as Janelle had to understand when, what was his name? Sarah had came to her and told her don't say nothing. And she realized, baby, your army wasn't doing too high. You couldn't have been doing too high. You coming here and telling me not to say nothing. Anybody come, you ain't here. She said, oh, baby, and you the one who was oppressing us? I got you. And at that, you asked for water. She gave you milk. She didn't even give you water. You asked for water. She gave you milk. She knew you weren't right, bruh. She knew you weren't right. Y'all better be ready in this season and hold your position. He said, and what he told you to do business wise, You better stand on business, and the teammates you have better be able to stand on business right in this season. He said this is a whole strategic plan. He said right now ain't no time for no mess ups, baby. He said when the time comes, you got to be able to seize your moment. He said this is not the time to shrink. This ain't the time to double guess it. He said this ain't even the time to get in your head. He said right now, if you walking in the spirit, you got your spiritual eyes on. If you able to hear him, he said he been telling you to meditate. He been telling you to drown out the noise. He didn't have some of us go on fasts. He said he's been making sure everybody had. He said your hour is coming. He said, your hour is coming, and it's coming faster than you think. He said, but in this process, you better have held your position. I love y'all. My name is Trisha. I'm checking back in. And yes, I am the owner of Let's Direct Our Own Path. So if you are looking for mentorship, if you are looking for one-on-one, if you are feeling like you keep wrestling with yourself back and forth and not really accomplishing and missing deadlines, missing opportunity, this is the season to partner with your girl. And in this time, if you are feeling unstable, not having a safe place to express yourself, I do provide housing. I do have a list at the bottom. So if you are feeling led, go ahead, email me. Let's start a one-on-one. Let's be able to break down the barriers that is holding you from your full potential in this season, because you got to get the right teammate with you. If you're feeling led, I also have my Cash app below. If you are feeling led, go ahead, put out a seed. And if this content that you were hearing was edifying, if it fed you, if it had gave you some level of understanding of the season that you are in, just drop a fire emoji. Leave a comment. Let me know how your journey is going in this season. But as always, you guys, fix your brother and sister crown. You ain't got to tell them you fixing it, but help them fix it. And as always, y'all take care of each other and love on each other, because we are all we got. So until next time, stand your ground. Don't let nobody trick you out your spot. This is your spot. This is your divine calling. And right now, you are being called. Either you're being called in your Deborah season, or you are being called in your Janelle season. Whichever season that you're about to walk into, stand your ground. Stand firm. Hold your position.